Peace, wholeness, love, and light. I am New Diamonds, and wow, you guys, we are live. Shout out to the Soul Tribe. Shout out to the members. Oh my goodness, you guys, everything is being exposed. Okay, everything is being disclosed. We're in full disclosure, full exposure right now. And this is only the beginning. Okay. So I'm going to let Soul Tribe come on in. Okay. And we have a few things to discuss today. We have a few things to discuss today. So yeah, as we let the Soul Tribe come in, I'm gonna play some music. We're gonna get into some vibes, and yeah, we gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it today. So yeah, we about to deep dive. Okay, you guys, shout out to the Soul Tribe. I love you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's Friday. Okay, Friday is live day. And wow, we have a few things to talk about. Okay, so don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to subscribe. We're about to go in for a deep dive. Shout out to the Soul Tribe. You know, we got the good vibes over here, and shout out to the members as well. So yes, it's you guys. All right, there is so much that is being exposed, right? We have been watching as the most things have been coming out in the media, right? Coming out within us, coming out just everywhere, right? The earth is shifting. We're watching certain things within our family structures change, within religion change, within certain ideologies change. I mean, it's so much that is going on. And I feel like ever since the beginning of February is kind of like that full on exposure happened with this Aquarian age, right? That information pouring in has been a lot. It's been so much. And now, since we're kind of coming out of that eclipse portal, right? There was a lot of mystical and magical things that happened during that portal, right? During that eclipse fire horse, it was so many things, Ramadan, Lent, Mardi Gras. I mean, it was everything all at once happening, okay? Not only that, we have these rare alignments. Who watched the video yesterday? Because I called it. I called it. I called this energy in the video yesterday, okay? And literally a couple hours later, they disclosed some information. It's been some things that's been disclosed. Now we've been hearing a lot of people talk about this whole alien, ET, extraterrestrial, interterrestrial, right, beings. But there has been a lot, right? There's been so right, this draconian energy, this Anunnaki energy, the Syrian energy, the Andromedan energy, the Arcturian energy. I mean, we can go on and Pleiadians, right? We done heard it all, right? Beam me up, Scotty. Phone home, ET. Take me to your leader. Okay, yeah, the Dogon's been talking about it. Okay, so this is something that we have. It's not new to anyone, right? It's really not even disclosure. It's kind of like them just finally admitting what we already knew, right? They're just giving us confirmation on what they've been hiding, but everything is being exposed right now. And it's just what a time to be alive, you guys. What a time to be alive. So, we're going to deep dive into it. We're going to jump into it. I just was so excited to do this because I'm like, everything is in divine alignment. What are the odds that we have this beautiful planetary alignment, a rare planetary alignment that hasn't happened in over decades, right? Then we have these beautiful new year ushering in this new year, ushering in this Kali Yuga, ushering in the fire horse, ushering. I mean, there's so many things that are being opened up to us right in front of our eyes. So this is where we kind of just sit back and continue to watch the show. I mean, it's a full-blown movie and we just kind of get, yeah, somebody said we got front row seats to the apocalypse. Exactly. We got front row seats to the apocalypse and that is just a great revealing. Everything is being unveiled. The veil is lifted as things are being exposed and disclosed to us at this time. What a time to be alive, you guys. What a time to be alive. So, we're going to deep dive into it. How are you guys feeling? How's everyone feeling today? I'm feeling really good. As you can see, I got my tea. Okay, spirit told me to detox, and that's what we're doing. We're detoxing, we're getting ready for these alignments with ourselves, within ourselves, right? Because it's most definitely as above, so below. So if there's an alignment going on in the sky, you need to be getting in alignment with yourself. Okay. If it's aliens on the outside, you need to be getting in tune with these foreign entities and substances and thoughts within yourself, right? So yeah, we're gonna deep dive into all of that. B Wolf said, I'm feeling good. Underground Wall said, I'm feeling excellent. Past Energy said, thanks for passing the energy. You know it's always good vibes over here. Okay. So, yes, this is all about, like I said, disclosure and exposure. And this is not just within the media. Like I said, we've been talking about this energy. If you've been on my channel, it's not nothing new to being exposed to certain information and certain information being disclosed. Thank you so much, Past the Energy, for the donation. Sending you all of that love and light right back. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Okay. Um, Shout out to the Soul Tribe. But this is about us kind of just exploring different things within ourselves, right? As I like to say, if it's as above, so below, as within, so without. So if these things are being disclosed and exposed externally, we need to be doing that internal work as well, which is why a lot of us have been called to do the fasting, do the detoxing, have more discipline, just really cut off these old cords, pay attention to these certain patterns, pay attention to certain structures, so that way we're able to align with our highest timeline, okay? And really get in tune with love of self, really get in tune with love frequency, so that way you're able to um recognize real, right? Real recognize real. And that is that exposure, right? Being able to see certain things and not letting certain things catch you off guard because you kind of seen it coming from a mile away, right? Especially if you into doing this work, right? You're able to pick up on certain things as we are master manifestors with the alchemy work that we have done, right? And when I'm speaking about alchemy work, this is doing that inner shadow, child work, inner childhood, just really getting in tune with yourself on all spectrums so that way you're able to heal from these certain things and use that trigger for power, right? Letting those things that used to trigger you, you have control over those things instead of those things having control over you, right? So it's this beautiful transformation that a lot of us have opened up to, and we are discovering new things about ourselves at this exact moment, right? About our cellular structure as well. And this goes into this whole exposure energy. And I say that because it's like a whole new world after this eclipse. Like, how was y'all feeling on the eclipse? Like, how was y'all eclipse? Because I know my eclipse, I was pulled into a portal literally, and I just was scrying, channeling, getting all type of uploads, downloads. I said things are about to be exposed, things are about to be explosive, right? It was just this stream of divine bliss and source energy that came in that day for me. And I just been kind of riding that wave and not letting outside or external things distract me, because I feel like that is what a lot of this media news stuff is really to distract us from going inward. It's really trying to distract us from getting in tune with ourselves. The more attention we give them, the more currency we give them, the more frequency they steal, right? So it's really about getting in tune with yourself right now and letting that energy guide you deep within, and that way you get in tune with things that are being exposed from within yourself. Okay, you said I really like that necklace, it's cute, thank you so much. I made it myself. I am a jewelry designer. So you can go to my website, newdiamonds.net. All of that information is down in the description box below. And yes, this is my sun pendant. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Big Merkaba, big sun, big alien Atlantean energy. Okay. All of these different things we're going to deep dive into, but I just really want to set like a foundation for this energy, because if you can get lost in the ethers real quick if you don't have a grounding point, right? So I love to ground this energy with, we are getting in tune with ourselves first, right? And not letting anything outside of us distract us or take away our good energy, because this is a time where they are trying to instill fear and trying to absorb a lot of that good natural source energy that is being poured into us right now. Okay, and I say that because we're in the midst of winter, right? And that is that underworld energy. That is when we are aligned with the galactic center, right? And like I said, this whole alien talk, disclosure talk ain't nothing new over here on my channel. I've been talking about aliens, I've been talking about ancient ancestors. That is inevitable when you are tapping into this higher sense of consciousness. Okay, I got my whole Crystal City video. If y'all have not watched that Crystal City video, I suggest y'all do. I talked about the galactic center and portals being open. I talked about third eye atlas, three eye atlas before it even came. So this is where everyone is being exposed to this information, and it's kind of up to you with what you do with it, right? If you want to venerate something outside of yourself, that's fine. If you want to reel this energy back in and know that it is in tune, it is in tune within you, and you can tune into this frequency at any time. Okay. And we are the antennas, right? We are the receivers, we are the satellites at this exact moment. And it's about the information that you're receiving and what you're doing with that energy at this time as well. Okay. So if for a lot of people who don't know, like, what is she talking about? What is Diamond Rancid about? Why is she talking about disclosure and exclosure and exposure and all these different things? Well, I'm gonna share the screen so we can deep dive. We can hop right on into it, okay? So y'all can see why I'm ranting and raving and it's such an uproar, right? So I'm just gonna play the video. I hope y'all can see this as well. Okay. So let me make it real big for y'all. Okay, okay. I'm gonna just pause it right there. I'm gonna pause it right there, y'all, because I have to break that down, just that part down, because it no no audio, no audio, y'all. Really? Okay. It basically, let me see. How do I make it to where y'all can hear it? That's annoying. But anyways, we said we didn't hear anything. Well, can y'all hear me? Soul Tribe, can you hear me? Very interesting. When I play any other video, when I do any other thing, okay. Do y'all see how YouTube do me? Y'all see how YouTube do me? In so many words, Obama, if y'all haven't seen, I suggest y'all go check out that video. Okay. Cause they love, y'all see how they do me every single time I'm dropping some knowledge, right? They love to cut my live off. They love to interfere. They love to bring in the trolls, right? They do all of these different tactics, but they can't stop me, period. They can't stop the chosen ones. They can't stop the enlightened ones for getting these messages out. Okay. Because our time is now and we're here. Okay. Everything is being exposed and disclosed right now at this very moment. So, to make a long story short, Obama was doing an interview. Okay. During this interview, the interviewer asked him, "Do you believe in aliens?" He said, "They are real." Right. Then after he said, he tried to reverberate, he tried to go back. Oh, well, if there was a coincidence, he already said what he had said, right? He said that the aliens are real. Okay. After that, the interviewer, that the video I just tried to show y'all, which they hating on, but it's okay because them is just receipts. And y'all already know I'm a trustworthy source, right? But he asked Trump, "So what do you feel about Barack Obama saying that aliens are real?" Trump said, he said that that's classified information. He wasn't supposed to say that. He's going to get in trouble, right? Or actually, I'm just going to declassify them so he doesn't get in trouble, right? Do you believe in aliens? I don't know, right? So I don't never talk about aliens, but there's a lot of people that do. So that's what Trump said. And I just was like, wow, how interesting is that? But is first off, is so much going on with that information alone within itself, right? We are, like I said, we already know, we already tapped in. We know, if it's quote unquote aliens visiting here, how would they know Earth is here if they're aliens, right? It's big ass universe. So many other places to go. Why here? Well, this might be their home, right? This might actually be ancestors, right? I talk about this energy all the time. The beings that I channel, they do not like to be called aliens. They are ancient ancestors. They've been here for many and plenty of years, right? And if we are star seeds, then we are stars seeded here from different star systems. It goes very, very deep, okay? And then it's this whole thing about the reptilians, right? The draconians, right? But there is good and bad in every species and everything and everyone and everybody and every soul, right? There is good and there is bad. That's inevitable. So it's about power. Everybody has power. It's about energy. Everyone has energy. What are you doing with that energy? What are you doing with that power? Okay. So that's just the baseline for this energy. Okay. So Trump was basically talking about declassifying the files. Since they don't want to play the audio, we're gonna get into the other receipt that I had. Okay, since they love they love trying to play your girl. All right. But it says, based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to aliens and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomenons, and unidentified flying objects, and all and any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America. Okay. So that, right, since they don't want to play the audio, well, I got many and plenty of receipts today for their ass. Okay. He's basically going to drop some classified files and make them declassified, just talking about this information. Now we know, as far as this energy goes, this is nothing new, right? This is something what Ronald Reagan, a whole bunch of different presidents, a whole bunch of people, right? We're talking about people being abducted. We got people to make their whole life living off of this whole alien talk, right? So this isn't nothing new, but it's just giving a lot of us confirmation on what we already knew, right? And this whole alien talk is going to really shake up religion, because if we really want to take it there, right? And a lot of people may not like what I'm about to say, right? So be aware of your cognitive dissonance right now. But if we really want to talk about aliens and religion, there is a sense of these gods, right? Gods and certain chosen ones that come here, right? AKA Yeshua, right? And a whole bunch of other, like I said, Anunnaki, a whole bunch of other, Pleiadian light lock, and they locked down the grid, and we were created with all these different Yakub and Yeshmal and all of these different stories that talk about these alienated beings, or these alien like, or these extraterrestrial, or these interterrestrial beings that are here, or that were seated here, right? And they had this type of interference with earth, and humanity, and this goes into the fallen angels, right? If we really get into the breakdown and description of an angel, that is something outside of earth, right? And when I love doing this whole mental breakdown of what Yeshua, Jesus was, because that is the son of God, right? And it's all happening in Pisces season, right? Big fish energy, big Piscean energy, right? That is that whole attributed to Christianity energy. But if we're talking about Jesus, if we're talking about Yeshua, right? This is the son of God, right? And where is God? Where was God when God created earth? God was outside of earth. So wouldn't that make God an alien? Right. And if we're talking about Jesus and Yeshua being the son of God, wouldn't that make him half alien? Right. He got all of these magical superpowers, all of these, right? But they don't want to talk about that, right? They want the, oh, that's blasphemy. Oh, that's this. Oh, that's that. But what about the angels too, though, right? When we get into the stories of Enoch, it talks about all of these different layers, all of these different dimensions, and how these fallen angels fell from different places to and made it with humanity, and fell in love with the beautiful women here on earth, that they had children with them. And then we got the Nephilim, right? Then we got the Seraphim. We got all of these different. Come on now, they don't really want to talk about it. They look, oh yeah, he got all of these powers, and yeah, he the son of God, but where break it down now, right? They don't really want to talk. They don't really want to talk about it. So there's gonna be a lot of things with religion that open up, and it's gonna be this really shaken up on people's ideologies and their beliefs when it comes to certain religion. Because when these aliens, quote unquote aliens, come in, and they have been here, right? I'm just starting it down. We're gonna break it down today. We're gonna break it down today. But if we're talking about certain religions and certain things and chariots, right? And UFOs, are they not the flying saucers, UAPs, right? They love to try to change the name of it so people get confused. It reminds me a lot of African Americans, the blacks, the Negroes, right? It's all of these different names. It remind me of the Indians, right? The indigenous, the natives, the Moors. They keep changing up the names and changing up the identities to confuse you, right? They're aliens. No, they're extraterrestrials. No, it's ET, it's interterrestrials. No, it's what other names they have for these beings. They have all different type of names for these specific beings, for the specific energy. And like you said, aka us, right? So that it goes so deep with this energy and how they're trying to confuse people, how they've been trying to confuse people. But like I said, this is everything exposing itself, right? This is the great disclosure. This is the great awakening. And with that awakening, you awake, you are woke, meaning that your eyes are open, meaning that you're conscious, meaning that you're able to see things beyond the veil, right? And that's exactly what's happening right now. A lot of us, our eyes are opening up to a whole nother different like spectrum, and we have to be aware of what we're taking in at this exact moment. Because just because they're saying aliens, right, we don't know what type of psyop, what type of mental disturbances they're going to try to do to the collective, right? This could be a sense of that, what people like to say, oh, blue beam project, right? Even though we know the technology they've been using for years is already here, right? This goes into a whole lot of different disclosure of things, because when we talk about this alien energy, this is something that has been here before we were even present, right? Like I said, if we are star seeds, we come from certain star systems, we are seated here, right? Meaning that something outside of ourselves created us, right? And that's a whole nother thing that they don't want to get into either. They don't want to give the power, they don't want to give the source to something outside of themselves, right? Especially if something is able to travel here and leave. They can't even break through the firmament, right? So the thought of someone being having a superior mindset, the thought of someone having more control, having more power, that instills fear in them, which is why they have been researching these different things for so long and hiding this information for so long, aka Area 51, aka the poles, Antarctica, Greenland, certain UFO events and phenomenons happening where they try to, men in black people try to make people forget, Mandela effect, right? Time dilation is all different type of things and weapons that they use and technology that they use. So we have to be very mindful, right? Be very discerning with this information that is being disclosed, because like I said, it's so much going on right now that they would just try to throw this out there in the midst of this file disclosure, right? In the midst of these Epstein, this, oh, it's so much. Well, let's take the attention off of that, right? But also, you can't never really trust the information that they putting out, because they only gonna give you what they want us to believe, what they want to program us to believe, right? So they may say an alien, as we've seen on the screen, is a gray alien, right? But really, we all know it's a lot of melanated aliens too, right? And I love that whole analogy, because this goes back into the reprogramming of the mind, right? I could have swore back in the day aliens were green, right? Where's Flawburn when I need her, right? Where is what Aaron Lyon where I need her? Where is Miss Blue when I need them? Yeah, we need all of the melanated women that's been channeling entities forever, right? We need everybody who's Dr. Malachi Z. York, Dr. Delbert Blair. There is many and plenty of melanated people who's been channeling aliens or entities outside of this realm, right? Or is it, right? Who knows? But it goes so deep, you guys. And now it's this sense of them trying to infiltrate this whole system while we're being exposed to a whole bunch of different files at this exact moment. And I say that because, like I said, aliens were gray, aliens were green, aliens are white, aliens are yellow, aliens are red. What about Marvin the Martian? What about the black aliens, right? They don't never talk about aliens are every color in the whole wide world except for black, right? Aliens look like fish. Aliens are aquatic. Aliens are blue. Why they don't ever talk about the black aliens, right? And that's a major key, you guys, because the solar system, the melanin, the source, the dirt, everything comes from carbon. Everything comes from the atom. Everything comes from a dark system of matter, right? Exactly. Billy Carson. We all know Billy Carson's an alien. Okay. So we it goes back into this melanin, right? And when we get into certain files that have been released, right? Certain people who said they traveled to Saturn, right? They seen black tall giants getting off certain ships, right? People on the dark side of the moon, melanated beings on the dark side of the moon or on the moon landing, right? If they went or if they didn't. These are astronauts, right? Hearsay, but we've had certain disclosure of people talking about how they are black aliens, how they're tall, giant, humanoid looking, African melanated, dark complexion beings, right? So that for me, that's the real disclosure. They really didn't want to disclose that there's a lot of melanated beings, right? What's his name? Elijah Muhammad, right? Talking about the mother plane, talking about being abducted, right? Why the reason why they say, oh, a lot of black people don't get abducted. Why don't black people talk about being abducted? Well, because it's this whole, like I said, psyops within the black community as well. It's demonic, right? It's all these different things, but today we talking about it all today. So we gonna unveil and uplift a lot of these different layers and really deep dive into each section of this whole alien energy, right? We go back to Atlantis, we go back to Mu, right? We go back to Lemuria, right? It's all of these different ancestral lands that talk about this highly intelligent community and these highly intelligent life forms that were opening up to different ways of being, right? Even if we go to the hieroglyphs, right? They talk about, like I said, chariots, certain religious texts, chariots, UFOs, UAPs, even like I said, the Hindus, right? The Chinese, they got the dragons, right? It's all of these different things when it comes to each culture that talks about the exposure of quote unquote aliens, right? Or ancient ancestors, right? And then wars that happen within the cosmos. There is so much to explore when we just talk about this topic alone. I mean, it goes so deep, and this is where we really get in tune exactly the Vermontans. And this is where we really get in tune with our own energy because we are the motherfucking alien. We are the aliens, y'all, right? And I say this because there's so much they try to do to destroy us, right? They poison the water, they poison the food, they poison the air, they poison us directly, right? They chemical warfare, frequency warfare, mind warfare, sex wars, right? Gender wars, war on the mind, drugs, right? It's all these different things, right? And we still here. What? We're still here. They cannot take us down. We do not look, we do not die, we multiply. They can't stop us, right? No matter if you erase our memory, right? We still come back, we still remember, right? Give us a little bit of time, but we still always end up on the right track. We still always get back in tune with our soul mission because it's embedded in our soul. It's embedded in the DNA, right? In that mitochondria DNA. That mitochondria cell is an alienated cell because they can't even penetrate that to figure out what it really does. Well, that's a code encryption that comes directly from source, right? That comes directly from the divine mother herself, right? That they cannot break through because it's not for them to gain access to. Meanwhile, that is being activated right now. That's why a lot of people are getting a gift of prophecy. The veil is being lifted. People can see auras, people hearing certain frequencies, certain tunes, right? People feeling the shifts, people not being able to sleep, people having prophetic dreams. How have y'all dreams been? How have y'all dreams been? Okay. Write everything down. We in the midst of a huge portal. I cannot stress that enough. Okay. I broke all of this down on my last video. I even got channeled. I even got some channeled messages on that last video. And it was entities. I described them and everything. So they already here. They have been here for eons, for centuries. Okay. We are their fucking grandchildren. Okay, great. They are cousins, right? ET, my cousin, right? So this is about us getting back in tune with our cellular structure, and remembering who we are. That's why there's this great activation, this great remembrance, this great shedding, right? To get back in tune with us, get back in tune with ourselves at this exact moment. And what a time to be alive, because like I said, there's nothing new under the sun. And this stems from years upon years of what's that word I'm looking for? Hiding information, suppressing information, suppressing people, suppressing knowledge, suppressing wisdom. But the time is now. And like I said, we have to be very mindful because we already know that this energy has been present for eons, right? And it really makes me think of again, if y'all haven't checked out my Crystal City video, I suggest that y'all do. But and I'll tag that at the end of this video. I'll put it on there. But this goes back to, and this is just on record, right? Like I said, it's been ancient wars within the sky, right? Ancient wars within the planets, right? But this really, what I'm picking up on is the whole Adolf energy, right? With him going to Antarctica and them tapping into portals, right? Operation Hydra. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you need to do your research. Okay. This is how he was able to tap into certain mind control and frequency warfare and energy warfare due to him having encounters with aliens. Yeah, I said it. Okay. So he got the information, he got the technology, and he was able to manipulate certain things and open up certain stargates, have certain portals, have certain bases in Antarctica. And there are certain grids that are activated when you tap into these different information from these aliens, if you will. That's what we're gonna call them from right now. But the people I work with, the entities I work with, they don't go for that. That's a derogatory term, right? It's derogatory, right? But for the most part, this goes back into hidden knowledge and hidden information to fight their wars, right? So all of the technology that we get, it's old. It's old technology. It's like 20 years behind when it comes to us receiving it, because there has been, we know, alien crashings, alien landings, abductions for eons, right? The Grand Canyon, who the hell know how the hell that happened, right? Some ancient wars, right? These craters in the earth, asteroids falling, right? Certain bombs exploding, atomic. These are all a sense of alien technology and warfare that has been being used for eons. And they really don't want to disclose this information because they want to manipulate the information. They want to manipulate it and use it for whatever agendas they have, right? If we got a hold of the technology and we really supposed to be using this technology for good, for love, for expansion of consciousness, not for scanning people and watching them in the shower, right? Not for spying on people, right? They use the technology for lower grade of consciousness. And that's why there hasn't even really been any really full disclosure on encounters with extraterrestrials coming here physically, because they already know there's going to be this sense of manipulation when it comes to the collective mindset, right? If they was to come down here and say, take me to your leader, who, hell no, nah. Like, who we gonna give them? Trump? Fuck no. Like, we don't even have, you know what I mean? Like, there isn't the right um high vibrational consciousness, collective consciousness here on this planet for us to even encounter with these highly intelligent ancient ancestors. Okay, so there is this process of upgrade and this process of ascension that a lot of us go through, which is why a lot of us are truly tapped into ancient wisdom, ancient knowledge, ancient information, because we are the technology, right? They can't seem to figure it out. Like I said, it goes back to the cellular structure and the DNA. But this is why they do studies, right? This goes back to the mutants. This goes back to the super soldiers. This goes back to certain projects, to Tuskegee experiments, and just a whole lot of different things. Like, it goes so deep that we really are just remembering who we are and getting back in tune with who we are and getting back in tune with our true power. And it's nothing really they can do about it but just expose us to the truth, right? And they're not gonna, even if he does do it, whenever he does do it, he's not going to give us everything, right? But it's all about you getting in tune with your inner technology at this time, so that way you're able to communicate with whoever and whatever it is that you need to, right? Whether it is an orisha, whether it is an entity, whether it is a high priest, right? Whether it is a god, a goddess, right? Whatever works for you. This is where you get in tune with that within yourself, and you let that energy expand, because that's essentially what's happening. That's essentially what's going on right now. There's expansion in consciousness, and they know that people are getting these upgrades and getting information from different places, from different star systems, also inner Earth, right? Because this isn't just about extraterrestrials. This isn't anything about anything outside of us. It's also things within us, right? And it's also things within the earth, right? So when we talk about these inner terrestrial beings, this goes back to the Atlanteans, right? This goes back to the Nomos, right? This goes back to the mer people, the mermaids, the Syrians, right? These are the quote unquote aliens that went underground, that went in the water, right? That are got the energy, where people felt cataclysm and certain events going on, so they went underground, right? The underground bunkers, right? It's a whole lot of layers here, okay? But this is where people of that descent went under, right, to protect themselves. They got word, okay, it's going to be a flood, let's go underground, right? Let's embed these crystals with information, right? So they will do the crystal seeding. Literally, they will get crystals, program them with their consciousness, and plant them in caves, and then that information will grow, right? Lemurian star seed crystals, right? Lemurian seed crystals, right? So this is where you really get in tune with your inner technology, right? Because this thing goes deep. And I love the fact that, a lot of things bloom within the dark. A lot of things grow within the dark. And it's just about getting in tune with that darkness within yourself, right? So that looks like meditating. That looks like isolation. That looks like being by yourself, to hear these different beings, hear these different personalities, hear these different things that are embedded within you. Because yeah, they are different emotions, but that is energy in motion. And it makes me think of these different aspects of ourselves when we really talk about these whole aliens, right? When we talk about different planets, it's really all aspects that are outside but also inside, right? So it's different layers and things when it comes to this whole inner earth energy. And I love to deep dive into that, because they love to say that it's global warming, right? They love to say that the sun is in a solar maximum, the sun is gonna die and it's giving off this heat and all these different things, and we're, doing certain things to the earth and we're polluting the earth. Yes, we are, right? There's a lot of different layers when it comes to the earth, but really we are heating up the planet with our consciousness, right? Because it's that melanin energy, that dark matter energy. It comes directly from the sun, but it's a symbiotic relationship, right? That consciousness, that communication. The more we open up our eyes to different layers within ourselves, the more we open up our hearts, we send that radiation out, right? We radiate that energy out, and it opens others up to that information, right? It's like a yawn, right? It's contagious, right? That goes back to the whole 2019 energy, why they wanted people 6 feet apart. They really don't want people opening up others, enlightening others. This goes back to censorship. This goes back to a lot of different things that were happening at that time, but it's really us, right? We're the ones who are activating global warming with our heat, with our consciousness, with our love, with our passion, with our desires, with everything, right? And so we are calling out for peace, calling out for all of these, calling out for change, right? And so that information is being like reciprocated back from the sun, which is making it hotter. Right. And we're also transferring into different. I love you too. You said, I love you, sis. I love y'all. Shout out to the Soul Tribe. Okay. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. But yeah, I'm in the channel right now, right? But it's a lot of information that is pouring in. Thank you so much for the Cash App, Jagetto. I appreciate that. Sending that love and light right back. But it's a lot of information that's coming in from the solar systems, right? So it's a lot of information that's coming in directly from the middle of the galaxy. I've been talking about this energy. I can't stress it enough. Okay. There is information that is coming in from the center of the Milky Way galaxy. Okay. And that energy is ultraviolet light, aka gamma rays and cosmic rays that activate us, activate the solar system, activate the sun. It's like a radio waves, right? So I broke all this down on my previous videos, but I'm not going to go into that. I'm just giving y'all as it comes out to me. But there's information that is being transferred at this time, right? And with that information being transferred, it hits the sun and it tells the sun to activate and send out different codes, right? AKA light codes, AKA source codes, right? When those light codes and those source codes and those gamma rays and those frequencies hit earth, it activates earth, aka activates these poles, and different things start to happen, aka the ice melts, the glacier melts, certain storms, right? Earthquakes, floods, mudslides, volcanoes erupting. I mean, and it's all happening right now. Everything is happening right now before our eyes. We're literally in the Armageddon, in the rapture, in the epoch, in the Maherta, in the Kali Yuga, in 5D, new earth, all of it, all of it, all of it, right? The blue kachina, right? The red kachina, everything, y'all, is happening all at once right now. Okay. So with this opening up of this consciousness, it heats up the planet, right? Which speeds thing up. Yeah, it feel like time speeding up. You're damn right. Earth is speeding up. Yes, it is. Everything is speeding up because of the heat, right? So that speeds up our frequency, that speeds up time, that speeds up the energy here on earth, and also it's melting the ice, right? So earth is warming up. That is the global warming. It is the consciousness here on this planet. And with that energy melting the ice, it is exposing different lands, exposing different land masses, exposing different um systems that used to be here, different cultures, different archaeology, and hieroglyphs and just notes. It's exposing so much, right? And I say that because I've been picking up on Antarctica energy for a while now. And like I said, that goes into a lot of different things. and that is connected to the South Pole. Okay. And recently we just had that solar eclipse. That solar eclipse was really focused in Antarctica. Like you could only really see that eclipse from the southern hemisphere. And if you were in Antarctica, thank you so much for the Cash App, Catherine. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all. Sending you that love and light right back. Right. So it's this activation that is happening within this ancient information in these ancient grids, right? It's activating the grids, it's activating the ley lines. People talking about the Leviathan energy, right? Because Earth is heating up, right? This is why they've been trying to use like harp and use weather manipulation to control the weather, so they feel like they're in control of something, but really they can't stop what's coming, right? Which is really the activation of us, the activation of consciousness, the activation of our ancient wisdom, of our dormant DNA and our gifts being activated, where we are in tune with everything and we aren't looking for validation or looking for a God outside of ourselves, because we know that God is within. We know that we are the gods, we are the source itself. Okay. So the more we get in tune with that, the more these things they're getting uncovered, right? So it's like we do the work internally and then the earth starts to uncover things as well. All right. And I say that because I'm going to share the screen again. Okay. Okay. Nope. Not that one. Nope. Okay. Boom. Here we go. Scientists have found a hidden prehistoric world beneath Antarctica's ice, frozen for 34 million years. You guys. And how? And how, Sway? Okay. How? What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Okay. So, yeah, they love. Now, this is just, a little mythical, magical talk. They look, what I heard was, if you go down to Antarctica, there is a portal that you can enter in that takes you into the center of the earth. Okay. So this is that Mu, this is that Shambhala, this is that Argata energy. Okay. Which is really heaven on earth, right? It's this paradise, it's this peace that is in inner earth, right? And like I said, these things aren't outside of us. They love to say these things are outside of us, right? But really, inner earth is inner you. Inner earth represents the heart, right? So if you go deep within your heart, you can find love, you can find peace, you can find paradise, right? All of that resides within you, but you have to do the deep embedded work, right? Because Antarctica is a South Pole. So you have to go south. You have to go get in tune with your root. And when you get grounded in your root and release the fear, release the trauma, do the inner work, then you're able to ascend to this higher timeline within yourself. You're able to activate this higher heart activation from within yourself at this time. But you have to do the work. It doesn't just happen. You can't just find this peace on earth if you ain't got peace within yourself. Okay. So essentially, that's what's happening with that. And I love that it said 34 million years, right? We all know that three is attributed to the mind, body, and soul, right? The foundation, communication, intelligence, learning, knowledge, wisdom, understanding, understanding, right? That four is all about the foundation. It's all about the culture. It's all about freedom. It's all about structure. And it's all about how you merge those two. So when you get in tune with your mind, your body, your soul, and you build this new structure, this new foundation with yourself, then you can reach that nirvana, right? Because 3 and 4 is 7, right? And that 7 is about that God, is about that divine union, is about that balance, is about antiquity, is about source and loving yourself and having a good relationship with yourself, right? So it's this ancient remembrance that is being discovered from when you go within yourself. That is the motherfucking alien. Okay. That is the ancient technology that they don't want us tapping into at this, the ancient tech, the AI. That's the real AI. You're the real AI. You're the real ancient information at this moment. but you have to do the work to tap into that. That's why it's all of these damn distractions everywhere, because they don't want you in tune with yourself. They want you to tell you who you're supposed to be. They want you to tell you what to do, tell you what to watch, tell you what to believe. So you never really get in tune with your true self. So you're never really able to think for yourself, right? Because if they got your mind, you're still a slave. You're a slave without the physical change. You don't need them because we got the head of the snake. Okay. And that's what this year of the snake was about, getting in tune with your mind, enlightening yourself, having these spiritual awakenings, having these ascensions to cut the head off the snake, to kill, to dead, to get rid of anything, cut the cords that need be, so you can tap into this enlightened self, so you can take off in this fire horse here with like thunder. Okay. Like thunder and lightning, baby. So hold on, y'all, because it's been an hour. It didn't even feel like it. Don't forget to like. But there's so much here with this disclosure and exposure energy. Is so much here. And that is just what they're telling us, right? They shut down the world when Third Eye, Three Eye Atlas came in, and no NASA, no nothing, right? And we all know, right? It's because everybody has their belief. And I don't discriminate, I don't judge, I don't say, that's your opinion, right? That's what you believe in, that's your. But when I think about the Three Eye Atlas energy, everybody's been talking about it. Is it aliens? Is it not aliens? Is it a comet? Is it not a comet? Right? This energy is shape shifting everything around us consciously, right? It's really having people question and open up their minds, right? You got people saying, "Beam me up, Scotty. I'm ready to get up out of here." Right? Is that Jesus coming back? Right? Because I heard he was coming back, right? And it's really taking a toll on the psyche of the collective, because and it's this is physically and spiritually, because with this energy that is coming in, it activates different things within our minds, our bodies, our souls. It really calls you to step outside of yourself, to think, wow, what if there is a power outside of ourselves, something that's bigger than ourselves? And that's what they don't want to lose control of. That's what the government doesn't want to lose control over, is the consciousness in the minds of the people, right? And with these things that are happening, they have no control over, they lose control, right? They lose their little sheeple, right? Because now that we question it, okay, well, what is that, right? It's not a comet. That don't look like a comet, right? Y'all can't even give us pictures of the damn Three Eye Atlas, but y'all got pictures of somebody digging in their nose from 5 years. Like, so what's really going on here? Right, the great disclosure that is happening to us, and the great exposure that is happening to us right now, right? It goes very deep. And the more that you really deep dive, right, this third eye, right, your mind opening up, your eyes opening up, right, and detaching from things that are no longer real, and really getting in tune with discernment, then you're able to clearly see, right? Going back to that 2020 vision, you're able to clearly see through the lies, through the deception, through the tricks, right? Through the manipulation. Because a lot of this stuff, it do be psyop, right? So, and there is a sense of shout out to B-Dale. He was talking about how it aligns with your spine, right? And that activation when your pineal gland is put with the pressure, right? There has to be pressure that puts on the pineal gland for the pineal gland to be activated. There's also the sense of detoxing that has to happen for that pineal gland to be activated. And we all know the pineal gland is attributed to the third eye, but I don't like calling it the third eye. It's really your first eye, because when we were all little sperms, all little semen, we didn't have eyes, right? All we had was the mind, right? We were just a little cell, a little sentient cell traveling through wombs, traveling through scrotums, traveling through darkness, right? To have that big bang of our own, to have this explosion within ourselves. Then our body starts to form. Then the mind starts to form. Then the heart starts to beat. Then we get eyes. Then we get flesh. It's layers, right? And if you really want to talk about it, when we in that embryonic state, we look like aliens, right? We look like little reptilians. We got little tadpoles, little tails, right? So, like I said, be open to the energy, because it's never just one thing, it's multiple things. And you really want to anchor it in love and in a higher vibration. And if it can't resonate with that frequency, then let it go, cut it out. That's it, right? So this third eye Alice energy, it goes so deep because this is also attributed to the water, right? When we talk about, like I said, the aliens, the nomos, right? The true aliens that have been here, they are within the waters as well. We all know the waters, the portals, right? And I say that because I broke this down on my last video. When we talking about octopuses, I just got chills. When we're talking about octopuses, octopuses look so like alien. Like they have these elongated heads. It takes me back to the pharaohs, right? The pharaohs, what's his name? Octin. What's his name? Tribe that he Nefertiti, right? They had these elongated skulls, right? The love say the aliens got these big ass heads, right? The big head genius, big head magician, right? The is about getting in tune with your mind. Yeah, Akhenaten. Thank you. Thank you. ODG. Okay. Yeah, Akhenaten needs elongated heads, right? Even certain people have elongated heads, certain tribes, right? So when we go back into that, that represents intelligence, a higher form of of intelligence, right? Also, like I said, aliens, when we talk about the grays, right? They have these big ass heads to represent this higher form of intelligence. But when taking it back down to underwater, when I look at octopuses, octopuses have that same like elongated head, right? We talk about the dolphins, right? They have these elongated shapes, right? And octopuses are some of the most intelligent life forms here, right? I broke this down on my Pisces energy reading, but they are a sense aliens, right? They look different. They really look different, and they are highly intelligent. They have, I believe, three hearts, and their hearts are actually in that like elongated skull. They have nine brains, right? Their brains are in their tentacles. Many brains are in their tentacles, and they have the sense of melanin where they're able to shape shift and change and do these different things. They can change textures and change colors. That's like some alien, right? That's something foreign, right? Or is it really foreign, right? That's something that's here on this earth. So it's and they, wow, they get so big, right? The deeper you go, at certain places they can't even explore under the water. So they just said, F it, we're just going to explore space, right? So when we really get in tune with this deep diving within the depths of yourself, there is new things to discover within yourself. And you can really find these things that are once alien or foreign and really get in tune with that and let that energy open you up to new things within yourself at this time. When we deep dive within the waters of ourselves, deep dive within the emotions, deep dive within the memories, and go into these meditative states. And really, like I said, do that shadow work, because when we talk about aliens, right, we could talk about the parasites, right? Shout out to Dr. Be Serious. These are some of the most oldest parasitic, uh lower vibrational entities, and they've been here. Bacteria, right? Bacteria, fungus, right? All of these different things from the plant kingdom, from different structures within the earth's grid, is ancient. And when we talk about the parasites are, dare I say it, leeches, vampires, right? They certain parasites latch onto the body and they drain you, right? They can kill you, right? They invade the body, right? The body snatchers, right? Aliens coming and abducting you and taking over and mounding you and probing you, right? That's kind of what parasites do, right? If you aren't in control of your body, you don't have no control over your thoughts. You don't have no control over your sexual urges. You don't have control over what goes in your mouth and what goes out your mouth, food or not. Okay. Yeah, it may be time to do a detox. So I said detoxing is key. Getting in tune with yourself is key, because all of these things you may feel something outside of you is because sometimes there may be a sense of a parasitic energy that has invaded the body, and you have to get rid of those things, right? Anything that has latched onto you for a negative sense of energy is a parasite. This could be a person, place, thing, yourself, your mind, right? Right, that, like I said, the devil, right, the evil, right, the enemy, the inner me, right, that I'm not in tune with, the ego, right, getting in tune with all these different aspects of yourself, so that way you aren't foreign to yourself, right? Nothing, it's nothing outside of you, it's really you. And when you get in control and get in tune with these different things, then you're more balanced, you're more centered, and you realize that you can't really give your power to anything outside of you, because you know that you are in control, right? But like I said, with these different technologies that they have, they're able to use certain 5G towers, right? 6G, 7G. I think it's really 10G already. They just not telling us. Just like they like to say, oh, we're in 5D. I think truly the spiritual ascended beings were already in 7D. That's how we so in tune. That's how we get information. That's how we predicting stuff. And 5 years later, we watching it come out. We watching it play out, because we're already in tune with this higher sense of self, right? And we're able to get this source wisdom that is embedded from within us, because we're in tune with ourselves. There isn't any interference, outside interference, right? And if you feel like there is any outside interference, that's when you need to go within. That's when you need to go on hermit mode. That's when you need to go into isolation, detox. And detoxing isn't just about food either. Like I said, getting rid of people, getting rid of things, getting rid of energy, getting rid of anything, that way you can get in tune with your higher self, right? And that is the God from within, right? And if we're talking about God, source, the all, that is something that is outside of the firmament that controls everything, which is really you. Okay. So there's so many. Peace to the tribe, peace, prayer seven. So, yes, this is really about us exposing ourselves to ourselves, opening up to ourselves, and looking at things from different perspectives, and also not getting lost in the sauce, because there's going to be so much more disclosure. There's going to be so much more things. What keeps playing over in my head is them damn aliens at the mall, right? Last year, I believe it was 2024, they had this whole thing where it was aliens at the mall, right? The aliens was shopping for J's in the Florida mall, right? The Miami mall. But if you really think about that, that lets you know that there's grids, there's portals, there's true grids and true portals and activations here in this on this plane that we exist in. And if you are highly intelligent enough, you can access them, right? They're in the waters, they're within us, they're in certain grids, certain ley lines. That's why it's always very good to go outside, get grounded, right? By grounding, I mean putting your bare feet, your bare hands in some dirt, hug a tree, right? Planting things, getting by nature, getting in the water, getting by beaches, because you're gonna really see that you can get in tune and tap into anything um at this exact moment, because the earth is sentient, the earth is conscious, just like the sun, just like we are, just like the plant is, just like the water is, just like the air is. Everything has a vibration, everything has a energy field. And when you're able to tap into that, then you're able to communicate with that, right? And it is a sense of this divine communication that is happening as well, right? With our ancestors, with source, with entities, with beings, benevolent and malevolent. That's why you have to use your discernment. That's why you got to get in tune with yourself and do the spiritual work. That way you're able to cast out certain things that aren't of your vibration, and amplify things that are of a loving and positive and blissful frequency at this time, because it's going to be a lot of trickery. It's going to be a lot of deception. It's going to be a lot of lies, right? And this goes back into just systems, period, right? A lot of systems weren't set up for us to succeed. A lot of systems were set up to confuse us, was set up for us to be in division and not to unify and not for us to come together. So this is where we have to step outside of ourselves and tap into our higher minds and look at things from the bigger picture. We're supposed to be uniting at this time, not fighting. And that's exactly what they're doing with all of these wars and distractions and disclosure and information coming out. I mean, it's just so much. It's information overload, right? The AI tricking people. You don't know if it's AI or if it's not AI. You just really got to get in tune with yourself at this time, because there's a lot of things that are being exposed and disclosed because the veil is lifted, right? So just be very discerning, and be very mindful of things that you are consuming at this time. Be mindful of your energy. And yeah. I mean, I feel like I kind of went over everything. I talked about the water. I talked about outside. I talked about the planetary alignment. I talked about different star systems, different solar systems. I talked about us being the aliens, right? Us being star seeds, that being embedded within us. Um, it's been so much. Yeah, the giants, right? I talked about the Nephilims. I talked about the angels coming down here and having relationships with the women of the earth to create the Nephilims, right? The giants. I kind of went over everything that I wanted to go over, and this is where we just really pay attention and protect our peace and protect your minds. Not a sense of being paranoid, just as a sense of you being aware of what's really going on at this time, because it's so much going on. It can be overwhelming, it can be overstimulating, and we want to consume things that are fulfilling us, not overstimulating us at this time. So yeah, it was something else I wanted to share with y'all. um yeah, the Schumann resonance has been going off. This volcano in Hawaii been going off. Like I said, it's been just a whole lot of different things going on within this realm. And this is where you just really get in tune with yourself as everything is being disclosed at this exact moment, right? And what are you disclosing? What are you letting go? What are you exposing yourself to? And what are you closing yourself off to, right? Because with things being exposed, there's a sense of disclosure as well, right? So with these old things ending, there's also this sense of these new things beginning at this time. Thank you so much, Pray Seven. I appreciate that donation. Sending you all that love and light right back. Gratitude. Okay. Shout out to the Soul Tribe. Okay. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Drop some gems on me. I appreciate that so much. But there is just this sense of really getting grounded and getting in tune with yourself at this exact moment, because there are multiple portals that are open within us, outside of us, within this realm. Thank you so much, Praise Seven, for the donation. Gratitude, sending you all that love and light right back. Okay. I appreciate y'all so much. I appreciate you so much, Praise Seven. Gratitude. But with all of this information that is pouring in right now, this is where you really get in tune with yourself. Okay. And like I said, we're in the midst of a huge portal. Thank you. He said, thank you for all that you do. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Gratitude to the best attitude. All right. And I'm sending that abundance right back to you tenfold. Okay. But this is the time, you guys, and I say that because of that solar eclipse energy. It was so like transformational and so blissful and so overpowering that I literally could not stop scrying. I told you I was scrying the whole day, right? Meaning I was writing channel messages all day, writing channel messages all day. Like my hand was hurting. And then after that, I was feeling the energy. I was feeling blissful energy coming over me. So I had to start channeling messages. These were the last 3 videos I dropped. Channel messages, then it got to the point where I just had to sit with the energy, and I went somewhere. Okay. So yeah, like what they say, oh, they came and abducted me to beat me up. Yes, baby, they sure did because it's all within us. You go within to ascend. You go within to find these different places, this inner earth, these things outside of you, different star systems, different planets, right? When you meditate, when you find peace within yourself, there's unlimited possibilities. And essentially, that's what's going on right now. It's this beautiful activation that's happening within all of us that we're able to tap into if you're doing the work, if you have access, and if you have access, then there's unlimited possibilities, endless possibilities. And I am also holding a class this Sunday. And I'm gonna be disclosing all of this because it's some things, like I said, I can't talk about on YouTube. You see, they wouldn't even let me play the video. So this is where we have to have certain special meetings and meetups, and that's what I'll be doing with my class on Sunday. I'm about to drop it down in the chat for anybody who would like to join. I'm gonna be doing like a little ascension class, and we're gonna be talking about all the things that we have been feeling, all the things that we have been seeing, all of the encounters we've been having. Because, like I said, that portal, that solar eclipse portal that we just was in, it was like no other. Like I literally was just taken over by a source, and I was just channeling that whole day, right? And it was due to this energy that we're in. It was due to this portal that we're open up to. It's due to us doing the work and opening up to ourselves, right? So if anybody would like to join that class, I have it pinned to the chat. And like I said, I'm gonna be deep. I'm gonna be going over my notes because I got some very profound notes that's going to expand on the next few years. I'm also gonna be talking about the energies that we're feeling right now, certain uploads and downloads that I got that are relevant to right now. And also I'm gonna be doing like live Q&A where we can really deep dive on how you guys are feeling as well. And I'm also gonna be doing a meditation that's gonna clear out some energy and activate some energy as well. So if anybody was interested in that, that is pinned to the chat. But it's going to be an amazing, amazing class. Super excited about that because if you know, like I said, if y'all haven't checked out my Crystal City video, you know, every year I tell people to meditate on that day because you're going to get profound downloads. Okay. You may even have certain encounters. And I always do every time I meditate on a solar eclipse. And that's exactly what happened. So I'm going to be disclosing those notes during that class. Okay. And we're going to go over some other things as well that can't be talked about on YouTube due to censorship and other things. So, yes, if anybody feels called to join that class, it's going to be Zoom. It's going to be fun. And we're going to be tapping in and doing some work. Thank you so much, Neek, for the donation. Thank you so much for the Cash App donation, Neek. I appreciate that. Okay. So yes, we're gonna be doing a class on Sunday. That's gonna be lots of fun. Also, it's just a lot of energy, period. Like I said, everything is being exposed. That was literally my last couple videos I did. And then the last video I just dropped about the planetary alignment, I literally had a channel message from, I don't know if it was an Anunnaki. I don't know if it was an Andromedan. I don't know who the being was. And I told y'all on the thing, I said, it's a whole being here. So they are most definitely here. They've been here. These are ancient ancestors. Okay. These are entities in higher vibrational frequencies that you can get in tune with when you tap in with yourself, and things are being exposed, meaning that there is the certain disclosure that is happening within certain structures, infrastructures within the government, infrastructure within the grid, infrastructure within yourself. So this is where you really get in tune with yourself to grasp these different things and attune to these different things at this time, because this is a beautiful time to be alive. Be mindful of all of the distractions that are going on because they want to take away that energy and that attention that you may be trying to give to yourself. And the trolls will be at an all-time high. The lower vibrational frequencies will be at an all-time high. Be mindful of your energy. Be mindful of who you're sharing your energy with. If you feel any shifts or like something is off, listen to your intuition, listen to your gut. I advise people to do detoxes. I talked about this on my last video. If you feel called to do a detox, do it, because there's going to be a lot of information that is transferred at this time. And yeah. Yeah, so if there's any questions you guys had, I'll take some questions from the chat. Again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Manner, for the cash out. I appreciate y'all for all of the donations. Shout out to the Soul Tribe. I love y'all so much with so much gratitude. Okay. Let me read the chat while I wait for some questions to come in. Okay. Let me go down. Um Oh, I love that. You said when Underground Wall Street said, when we see UFOs, that's just probably your brain getting a microdose of DNT when and you peeking behind the veil. I love that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. These lights, these neurons in your brain connecting, being activated. It's a lot. It's a lot right now. So this is about getting in tune with yourself, right? Because anything that is outside is also inside. It's also about activating that within yourself, because you don't have to look outside yourself for anything, even though there is a sense of this what is it called, an illusion, the simulation, right? But there's also things that are present in this simulation, right? Like certain entities, certain beings, right? Certain souls that are activated and certain NPCs that are not, right? So it's just about being aware of these things. But yeah, all of this stuff is accessible when you get in tune with yourself. So that looks like meditation, that looks like breath work, that looks like exercising, that looks like the right diet that works for you, right? The right food, the right energy. It's all about the right mindset when it comes to tapping into these different veils. Okay. Let me see. Drop some gems in the chat. Drop some questions if y'all had any questions. Don't forget to hit the like button. You said I had a dream yesterday, seeing an alien ship. Literally, it was so vivid and I felt the vibrations from the ship, and it passed and I heard the sound of it. Whoa, Tyvale Kelly, I love that. That is so amazing. Yeah, they're here. Like, they are here. Like, it's no other way I can explain it. These are inner earth beings. These are beings outside of the firmament. This is beings within you, and they're communicating with you. You're communicating with yourself, and it's all being activated at this time, right? It's this great transcendence energy that is happening when it comes to this whole split, this new earth, this old earth, this 5D, this nirvana, this heaven on earth. All of these different things are happening all at once, and it really is centered from within your heart and your mind. And once you get those things in coherence, then you are able to board the mothership. Okay. And I talked about this on my last video. If you guys have not watched it, I suggest you do, because I talked about us boarding a ship. Okay. So yes, the ship is here. All right. Um, let me see what else y'all said. You said they still showing commercials on your life. Wow. Okay. Yeah, we already discussed that. Oh, sorry, fat look. Just wait it out, Ultra. Just wait it out. Um, he said I had a dream recently where I seen a bluish alien and it was sat at the table with me. I love it. So this is, yeah, like your soul coming back to you, right? You finally have a seat at the table and you're sitting with yourself, your higher self, disclosing things and you're receiving information and just being open to it, right? Being open to that information, being open to yourself at this time is a major key. And I love that y'all talking about dreams because last night I had a dream, right? I had a dream and it's very interesting because due to the alignments, right? Right now, we have Saturn and Neptune that are conjunct in Aries, right? And I did like 3 breakdowns on that energy if y'all want to check that out. But I found it so interesting that the dream that I had was it was it literally felt like I was in the midst of a volcano or like on the sun. I felt like I was on the sun or a volcano and it was lava like rising, right? And I'm on like this structure and it's like a metal structure and I keep like trying to get to like this area to play this game, but I have to keep like collecting things and going back, right? So every time I'm getting a piece to the puzzle, I have to go back to the beginning to get something else. Then I come back. Every time I come back to this like hot lava volcano area, the lava is rising, and with the lava rising, the fire rising, it's melting the metal structure. Do y'all see? Okay. With the consciousness rising, there are certain structures that are falling apart and melting away as we get more pieces to the puzzle to find to connect within ourselves, right? And I did this 3 times, right? So for me that's 3 waves of consciousness. If you've been watching my lives, you know I've been talking about these 3 waves of consciousness that are coming in. We're in the midst of the second wave right now, okay? um, there will be a third and final wave at that 3-3 portal activation. I'll get into that in a second. Right now, I'm still on a dream. Okay. But with this third wave in my dream that came, all of the structures melted and then I like flew away. I literally ascended and then I woke up. So for me, I was like, why did I have a dream about hot lava and the structures melting away? But now it just all clicked as to why. Okay. And this is a whole generational shift that is happening within the collective, right? Because it was multiple people with me in that dream. And it was about us just working together, standing up for what we believe in. And also, everybody can't go because as I'm getting pieces, putting the pieces together, I could see other people on their structures and they're not making it. They're falling in the lava, dying. Their structures are falling. They're not getting the right pieces, right? So this is about the collective consciousness rising and heating up. And those who can stand the heat in the kitchen, they don't get burned. Okay. They just they purge and they release, and that pressure that's put on us turn us into diamonds. Okay. So yes, I thank you for sharing that because I wanted to share my dream with y'all too. All right. You said honestly, Kville said, honestly, I think that aliens run our government look like the ones in 5 ways. Yeah, there are different beings that run the government, right? There are different structures and different people in place, different puppets in place that go out on the battlefield while the main head, while the boss, while the whoever really run the show is behind the scenes. And it's not all that it seems, right? So be very open-minded when it comes because it's not even about race. It's not even about color. It's about it's about trickery, right? Because in the art of war, um, not inception, infiltration is one of the best ways to conquer a war. right? To win a battle, you have to infiltrate a structure, right? So it's sending in spies, sending in sleeper cells, so the double O agents, the undercover agents, things like that. That's how you tear down the system. You have to get on the inside, right? And so that's initially what they do, or they'll send someone with a mask on, right? And infiltrate certain systems to make it look like, oh, it's a so and so person, but really it's one of us. They look like us, but they not like us, right? Or it's something outside of that is controlling that entity or controlling that person because they still have more work to do within their hearts, within their minds, to release certain vendettas, certain programming, certain structures to free up that energy. Okay, so it's different. It's a whole lot of different layers when it comes to this alien energy. And I love this shit, right? Y'all see me all the time. I'll be channeling all the time. I'll be talking about ancient ancestors. I've been talking about aliens for a while on my channel now. And it's just very interesting to watch all of this stuff play out because like I said 50 years ago this wasn't so cool to talk about, right? This wasn't a thing that people talked about. It was more so of a hidden thing. But these things are coming to light and I love that because it's really here to open up people's minds, and awaken them and open them up more to consciousness at this time. Okay. um Let me see what else y'all said. Mm, right, because it could. You said I heard that they said it's not even black. They look like oil. Yeah, it could just be a plasma. Like I said, parasites. Right, parasites aren't physical things. Some of them just look like plasma. They just look like splat, right? But this amoeba, right? This bacteria gets in your body, on your skin, on your brain, right? Plaque on your brain is dementia, right? It's chaos. It's you have no control over yourself. So it's not even people. Sometimes it's just an entity. Sometimes it's just an essence, a spirit, some plasma, some a frequency, right? So just be very mindful of that as well. Okay. Um, Let me see what else. Y'all just commented on what I said. Yes, yes. It's gonna be a lot of people that are upset because they're gonna find out who the real aliens are. Okay. But it is what it is, and these things have to be disclosed. Yes, I remember Harrietta Lacks, absolutely, with the DNA, the healing DNA of the healing structure. Yes. That's why we the real aliens, right? They've been doing tests, and I talked about that as well. They've been running stuff on us, right? Um Thank you so much, Praise Heaven, for the donation. Gratitude. Sending you all the love and light. I can't thank you enough. You all a major supporter. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Sending you all of the love and light. Okay. So thankful for you. All right. Um, um, yes, y'all talking about the us being the star seeds. Yes. Um, Yes, EMF. Yeah. Be mindful of the EMF, the electromagnetic fields. Like I said, we're talking about frequency and technology and how they use that to manipulate the minds of people, AKA what we're watching, what we're listening to. Be very mindful of that as well. Okay. And certain energies coming in. If you feel a certain way out of nowhere, listen to your body. Listen to your body. Listen to your body. That's going to be another big thing. This fire horse energy this new year, that's coming up, is listening to your body and paying attention to that. Okay, health as well. All right. Yes, you said I'm gonna tell them Miss Blue is our president. Oh man, they're gonna be like, we know her, right? Well, that's our family. Okay, so y'all, we all family up in here. Okay. I love it. um yes, the real New Year's is March. Yes, we know that. We were waiting countdown. Okay, that's why I said I'm detoxing right now. a lot of you people may have been feeling called to detox, aka the Ramadan, aka the Lent, aka just feeling called to do something, to let go of something. Because detoxing, purging, releasing, surrendering isn't just always food. It's different things, detoxing from social media, detoxing from the phone, detoxing from technology, detoxing from people, detoxing from anything low vibrational, negative, distracting you. Be very mindful of all of these energies at this time, okay? Um, Thank you. You said I never thought about it like that. That is the first eye. Absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Drop them gems. Okay. You said eating calamari is damn near cannibalism. That Jaghetto, I had, because y'all know I be in the ethers. I got a channel message, and I just was having a conversation with some of the beautiful benevolent entities that I work with, as some of them are Syrians, right? And I'm like, okay, yeah, y'all aquatic beings, right? And I was fasting. This was when I was doing my 30-day detoxes. They was like, yeah, so like we're aquatic beings, and I asked them about eating fish. They was like, yeah, that's like your cousin, like you're eating you're eating your cousin. I'm like, no. Because it goes back to the Syrians, it goes back to the dolphins, it goes back to the whale, to the octopuses, to the fish, to the crab, to the crustacean, right? These are all things that dwell within the water. So essentially, that flesh, eating flesh isn't, we all, like I said, we all have different beliefs, we all have different ideologies. That's just something I got as a download, right? As far as eating fish and seafood, yeah, you eating your cousins. If you so-called a Syrian, right, from the Sirius star system, you're eating your cousin, okay? And the other day I was just eating fish. I said, man, they sure do taste good. This is delicious. Okay, this is delicious. Yeah, and Jesus only was able to eat fish, right? During Lent, you can only have fish. Yeah, there's plenty of fish in the sea. I hate to say it. My guides is cracking up right now. But yeah, you got to do what you got to do. Okay. Don't shoot the messenger. Don't be mad at me. That's why it's good to fast and detox from everything, because that's one of the most parasitic things, because they are in the bottom of the ocean. They drop a lot of different toxins in the ocean. They drop a lot of different toxins in everything. So just be mindful. Detoxing is very important, and cleansing out the body, right? Working out, sweating, doing those saunas, doing those steam rooms, um, anything that's going to release uh energy is very good. Anything that works up a sweat, getting that bread, getting that breath, getting that breath, and getting that blood pumping is really, really good to exercise, because your body is releasing chemicals and toxins on its own. Okay. You said I lived the eyed scorpion said I lived in Miami and remember that the energy was extremely high that day. Yeah, because a whole portal was open. And we all know, I mean, if you ever been to Florida, if you ever been to Miami, that's a whole nother different type of energy, right? All of that area over there, that Bermuda area, it is different. It's different. It's highly charged up. When I went there, I got some of the most intense downloads, some of the most intense dreams. It was like you immediately activated over there. So yeah, it's most definitely portals and ley lines that are activated. If you have access to them, I suggest, going certain, this is why you go certain places. It goes to astrocartography, right? When you go to certain places, you feel different. This is embedded in your bones, embedded in your DNA. Your ancestors probably walked on those lands, and there is an ancient remembrance that is happening, an ancient inheritance that is happening when you go to certain places, that you have these connection to. If you feel called to go somewhere, right, it's you being called back home, right? Phone home, right? But that home is where the heart is. So it's whatever feels good, whatever resonates with your heart, whatever feels like love, whatever feels like bliss. Yeah, that orgasmic bliss, that is source, that is Allah, right? That is God, that is that essence. So getting more in tune with that and being in that and being nourished by the divine is priceless. But also don't get lost in that and don't be consumed by that energy, because just like anything, being too much of anything is bad, right? So just being mindful and finding balance with that as well. Okay. Um, he said this was beautiful. Ooh, I see all the gems. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all. Let me see what else y'all has said. I'm almost down, y'all. I'm working my way down. If y'all got any questions. Um you said thank you for delivering this message. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. You said that necklace. Thank you. You said a necklace is fire. Thank you. Again, this is my little compass, my little Merkaba, my source activation. Okay, it's close and near and dear to my heart. Also represents the sun. It's a star. It's everything. Okay, and I made this myself. Again, I make jewelry. I make crystal jewelry. I sell crystals. I do readings. I do healing sessions. I do a lot. So if you're interested in that, you could also check out my website, newdiamonds.net. Is pinned at the top of the chat. Again, I'm having a class. If you guys would be interested in that, you can check that out as well. Okay. But thank you so much. So grateful. You said the glow is real. Thank you. I'm glowing, y'all. Am I glowing? Thank you. Thank you. I feel like ever since I did the detox this year, because I do a detox every year in December, in winter to align with the ancestral portal in the ancestors way. That hibernation, that winter, that underworld energy. So I feel like ever since that detox, I've been like activated on a whole nother level. So I'm glad that y'all could see the work that I'm doing internally. That means a lot. So gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Um Somebody said, Catch Manny said, what about the children? Fuck the aliens. Well, yeah, it's a lot with the children. You got to protect the children. You got to protect your inner child. You got to protect, what you can. And there does need to be more of a concern for the children. I agree 1,000%. But the message that I'm getting is this has been going on for eons, right? When we take it back to the 1900s, when we take it back to the 1800s, right? When certain kind of colonizers came over here to the Americas, what did they do? Right? They took advantage of the children. They, had slavery. It was all type of different stuff going on. This isn't nothing new. This is, what they've been doing for eons. It's just, things are being revealed at this time. And, people just gotta do the best that they can to protect themselves, protect their children, hide your kids, hide your wife, hide your husband. It's really not about hiding, it's just taking the proper precautions to protect yourself at this time, by any means necessary. So if you doing that, you good, right? And I say that because protection isn't just about a gun, right? It's about making sure these kids have a safe place to eat, a safe place to learn, safe environments, right? I was just talking about this with a family member the other day. It's predators online everywhere, right? So the kids can't even play Roblox. They can't even play certain games because the predators are on there and they telling them to meet up and what's your address. And the kids are being so naive and they're just innocent. They don't know. But if you are protective, if you're supposed to be doing your job as a parent, protecting your children, right? I homeschool my children because I don't fuck with the system, period. I don't trust them to teach my children what they need to know because me growing up, they didn't teach me everything I was supposed to know, right? I was, it's so many layers to that, but I'm just gonna speak on this. As a child, I was discriminated against just because of my color, just the color of my skin, because I was a melanated being and I was highly intelligent and highly different. So I got treated different, and the teachers would outcast me. Okay. So I did not want that for my children, along with 1,000 other things, them exposing the children to genders and sex and all of this other stuff at the age of 8. That's something the parents should be doing, right? So I said, I'm not going to have my children in the school system because I want them to learn a different way. Education is supposed to be about education, not making friends, not being distracted, not them teaching them what they wanted to teach them. I want to teach my children what I want them to know. So I took the initiative and did that. That's my form of protecting them as well, right? So protecting the children goes back to the parents, right? And you have to be able to break those generational curses within the family lineage. And if you're not strong enough to do that, because it's not easy, right? But somebody got to do it. If you want to break through those curses and be the cure, be the damn cure and stand up and take action about it. Don't complain about it, right? The society don't care about the children. Well, you start with your own children, and then you connect with like minds that do care about children, and then y'all build up your own foundation, right? Y'all teach the children how to grow, teach the children how to protect themselves, teach the children how to survive, right? And enlighten the children. That way the children can be more aware of certain predatory energy as well, okay? Because it's a two-way street. All right. And then, it's just certain powers that be. It is what it is. We can't be everywhere all the time, all at once. I understand that everybody has a certain role for them to play, but we can't always play victim. What's the solution? Right? What about the children? What about them? What are you doing to help the children? Do you have schools? Are you teaching them? Do you have books? Right? Are you a doctor? Are you teaching the kids about herbs, right? My kids know about herbs. So it's about, what are you doing with the own children around you? Are you teaching your little cousins? Are you teaching the infants around you, right? Are you teaching the mothers that they should be breastfeeding instead of giving them formula that's going to poison them? Are you in bed? So don't come for me when we're talking about the children, because I'm doing my goddamn part with mines. Are you doing yours with yours? That's where it start. We can't take on this global thing when you're not even taking care of home. Respectfully. I say that with all the love. Now moving on to the next question. I like your necklace. Thank you. I made it myself. Shout out to me. Shout out to the tribe. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. If you would like to purchase any jewelry, I also do customs. Information is pinned to the chat for my website. Okay. Um, Thanks, New, because that was me in the bush, alien. I felt calm and I knew it was them. Yeah, so grateful. That's what it's about. And that's the thing with the alien energy. That's how you know if it's benevolent or malevolent, right? Because some people can't pick up on the difference in the energy. And benevolent energy comes peacefully, is very angelic, is very calming, is very ancestral. And they're going to come in a form that's comfortable for you, right? So that way they don't scare you, because they're not trying to instill fear, right? They really just come in peace, love, light, and wisdom, right? The malevolent ones, they come in, they're trying to scare you, they're trying to probe you, they're draining your loosh, they holding you down, you got sleep paralysis, right? You can't get up, you're seeing demons, you're seeing. Now, don't get me wrong, some angelic beings, some angels, some aliens don't all look pretty. And I say I respect it, because they like, hey, sorry. But from our humanoid, they don't always look humanoid, right? They look different. So you have to be open in order to receive. Otherwise, they're not going to expose themselves fully. Okay. And like I said, I have a class. I have a class that I'm doing on Sunday, and I've had multiple classes where I talk about this, because I can't get too deep on the internet or on YouTube, because I don't want them to flag it or take it down. So if you want to deep dive into those things a little bit more, then I suggest that you join the class, okay, on Sunday. And that is pinned to the chat as well, that I'm having, because I'm gonna be going deep, y'all. I'm gonna be going so deep on this topic, and everything is in divine alignment, okay? But you got to be open to receive, all right? Commander said, I've also been noticing more shadows quickly moving from the corner of my eye. Yes, they here, baby. They is here. I talked about this on my last video. If y'all haven't watched it, yeah, this is that open portal that we're in. The veil is lifted. So you're starting to see, you're starting to notice, right? The creaks, the sounds, the synchronicities, the signs, the shadows, the orbs, the lights, the flickering of the lights, right? Certain things closing, and a gust of wind, the air. It's all different type of things. So be very mindful. It's all happening all right now. Again, if you want to deep dive on this topic, I'm gonna be deep diving on it on Sunday. Okay, so if you want to join the class, the Ascension class, please do so. Link is pinned to the chat. Okay. Um, you said, what if Kush says, what if you close your eyes and you see a being with one eye over you, like an angelic being from the book of Enoch. Yes, those are called seraphims, right? So the like I said, angels, I'm so happy I just broke this down. All angels look different. All angels aren't white. All angels don't have wings. Some angels, some entities, some aliens look different. Okay. So these are what we like, some people call them the watchers, right? They're watching over. These are highly ranked angelic beings with high frequencies that just watch over you. Okay. They are protectors. Like I said, if they're not coming in trying to scare you and say weird shit, programming you, making you trying to do weird things and doing weird things to you, then is probably just an ancestor or an angelic being that's there to enlighten you or watch over you and just send you a message. So, yeah, I love that. I love that. You so grateful said I was in the military and I met some real NPCs, baby. That's gonna be a thing. Okay, we're gonna see a lot of that sleeper cell. I've been talking about the sleeper cells going off. So be very mindful of that energy as well, y'all. Hold on, because woo! I love y'all. Did I tell y'all I love y'all? Thank y'all so much for being here. Yeah, we didn't deep dove on every layer of the damn aliens, ancient ancestor energy. I love this. This is so my realm. And I've been getting more comfortable talking about this because I would get certain, and that's the thing, y'all. This is the time. If you have certain things, we're gonna hear a lot of things about disclosure and exposure, and people are gonna start coming out more because it's not so taboo. I've been talking about this, right? But that's has been a thing within myself. I'm like, damn, I know Soul Tribe fuck with me, but is they going how they gonna think if I start channeling entities and telling them I'm seeing entities and aliens and stuff? And my spirit was like, that's part of your role. Like, just do it and be thankful. And then I started to run into more channelers, more melanated women that were channelers, and it made me feel more open. So I just been thankful and so grateful that I am a vessel being used by source to expound on this topic as well, because it's a lot of people that they may feel ashamed or may feel like they're crazy. You not crazy. You don't got to be ashamed. These are all part of our gifts and we are all unique. None of us are supposed to be exactly the same. That's why source made us the way that we are, so we can all have these different experiences at this time. So don't be afraid to be who you are, be different, right? And shine your light in different unique ways at this time. That's what it's all about, right? So I love this. I love deep diving on these things because I've been seeing some different type of beings and I'm like, whoa, what was that? And I'm like, damn, was that an alien? Like, damn, that was an alien. Then when I really get in tune and I decipher and I do the research and I'm doing using discernment, I'm like, damn, this is really a part of me, right? That alien being that I thought was outside of myself is really my soul communicating with me to let me know who I am, who I was, where I'm coming from, and where I'm headed. Woo! Okay. So don't ever think, right? Don't ever think. Get in tune with yourself. It's really all you. Okay. You always in control. All right. Um, Yes, yes, yes. Time shift. Garmy said that's why some of us look alike because we all come from the same frequency, born in different positions. Absolutely. It's phenotype, right? So some of us look similar, some of us look different. Like I said, we were talking about the elongated heads, right? As far as different ancient texts go. And like I said, the whole Enlil and Inky thing and different people look different for a reason. That, like I said, everybody has their own thing and that's okay. Everybody looks different and that's okay. That's a part of being in this realm. We all supposed to be different for a unique reason and tapping into that to find our own purpose, our own unique purpose. Okay. What herbs do you use for detox tea? Well, it depends on what I'm detoxing. Right now, I'm doing more of a heavy metal detox and parasite cleanse. So right now I'm using black walnut husk. I'm using wormwood. I'm using mugwort. I'm using soursop, and I'm using cerasee and also acacia niotica. Okay. So those are different teas that I'm using to detox. Also, papaya seeds. I'm eating a lot of fruit. I'm eating a lot of water soluble vegetables like cucumbers, watermelon. So I'm eating a lot of fruit and vegetables that are high in water just to flush out my system right now. So yeah, those are herbs that I'm using for for this detox right now. DJ Sweetness. DJ Sweetness. Ooh, okay. I caught it late. I got it. So grateful. Bobby Hemmett said, "You want to see what you are capable of and who you are. Take out the Crypt Demons Night." Okay, yes, Bobby Hemmett, one of the greats, right? um, peace, peace, peace. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So I have my kids, I have them detox as well. DJ Sweetness. So I'll make smoothies and I'll put papaya seeds and I put a little bit of herbs in there and they drink it and you can't even taste it. So that's the best way how I like to give them their detoxes. Sometimes they'll drink the teas, but they be very bitter. So sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. But I do give them the teas too and let them know what are bitters for. Bitters are used for detoxing. We need bitters to make us feel better. And they're like, okay, so they do it with me. Sometimes they don't, but for the most part, yes, I use them on my children. I have a 6-year old and a 8-year old, and I've been detoxing them since they were about 4 and 6, and they already know when mommy's detoxing. Okay, we eat more fruit, we drink a little bit of tea, and we get rid of worms in our body. Okay, so that's how I do with my children. So if the babies can do it, most definitely the teens can too. Even if you gotta sneak it on them, like I say, put it in a smoothie. They won't even know. Don't even say, "Here, you want the smoothie?" Okay. Underground Waste said, "I'm on my second day of my water fast." Yeah. Shout out to everybody who got the call, right? You heard the call and then you answered to detox because that's how it was for me. I'm like, am I being called to? Yes. I'm like, dang it. All right. They said minimum 3 days. I'm like, okay, okay. You ain't gotta beat me over the head. I heard the call and I'm gonna detox. Okay. What do you do for hunger headaches? Um Hunger headaches while fasting. Well, it depends on what type of fast and what type of detox you're doing. If you're allowed to eat fruits and vegetables, I just will say eat more fruits and vegetables. Headaches normally come from low iron, anemia. So you should add more iron, magnesium, B12, uh, B, what is that? 3? K3, vitamin D. You need to make sure if you having headaches, that means that there's something that you're not receiving, a sense of malnutrition, and you need to amp up that vitamin or that mineral. Okay. I also do health consultations on my website as well for those who are looking to get into herbs. I also do like special herb blends, special herb teas, cater to certain people or suggest certain herbs for certain people. So if that's something you'd be interested in, I suggest that you book a session. But for the most part, if you have some type of hunger headache, that could be parasites leaving, low oxygen going to the brain, or a sense of malnutrition or deficiency in minerals. All right. And what do I do to get rid of those things? It depends on the detox. I'll either eat some fruit, make me a smoothie, drink some water, drink some tea, eat a salad. I normally eat. But if you're doing more of a water fast, like for my people who doing Ramadan, I would suggest maybe just breathing and getting that oxygen flow into your brain. Think about things and transferring that energy somewhere else so that way you're not thinking about how hungry you are. Okay. Because I know with Ramadan, you can't eat anything until the sun sets, right? So just breathing. That's a whole nother level of discipline. So you just gotta pace yourself and work with yourself. All right. Yes, yes, yes. You said, Pray 7 said, I heard you. I'm trying to stop eating the seafood. You said something deep and true. I mean, if it resonates, it resonates. Some messages ain't for everybody, but if it hit home, hey, the message was probably for you. But like I said, I still crave seafood every once in a while, and I rarely eat it, so I'll eat it, and I'm open and I'm vulnerable enough to say that. So I always say, oh, I'm a fake vegan. Oh, I'm a fake alkaline. I'm fake plant-based, but really it's not about either any of those. It's about being healthy, right? And listening to your body and making sure your body is getting the minerals and the vitamins that it needs, the protein that it needs, everything that your body needs in order to flourish. It doesn't look like one strict thing. So being open to that and doing what works for you is the best advice that I could say. Okay. You said the children are the star seeds. Absolutely. Have you had any regressions? Memory I said, have you had any regressions? Like with myself, I haven't had any regressions with anybody. I've only booked sessions with Sister Myra and other trusted sources. And there was never like, well, I'm trying to think. Well, Miss Blue too. Miss Blue told me some stuff, right? Sister Myra told me some stuff, right? But as far as regressions, yes, I have had past life regressions. Okay. And it's probably when I first started to come into spirituality. And this was before I was even tapping into readings and doing psychic and oracle things. I seen myself. I'm gonna just share this one with y'all. Okay. And this was my first past life regression memory that I had during the spiritual awakening. This when I first got my Moldavite and I first started getting into crystals. Um, I remember sitting down and my brain started to pulsate, and I got pulled into a vision of me in a pyramid. Okay. And I was working with a priest. I was working with a high priest or like a pharaoh or like a king on a throne. And I was their personal oracle. I was like the pharaoh's personal oracle. And they would just ask me, okay, what's a good day to plant these seeds? I'm like, okay, this day. Okay, when is a good time to do this? Okay, is my wife cheating on me? Okay, what time? Okay, and can you tap in? So I was like an oracle in a past lifetime. Okay, that was my first past life regression. I remember it vividly. I had an all black, like you couldn't even like all you could see was my eyes. I had a black veil. It had like silver, shiny gold stuff. And I was like, whoa, like, okay, that's interesting. Right. So my first past life regression was me being an oracle before I even started tapping into doing oracle work. This is when I was just started working with crystals in like 2017. So, yes, I've had past life regressions. I also do past life regressions. Shout out to the Soul Tribe. You already know we'll be deep diving into them Akashic files. All right. Um, First time getting you live. Ooh, I hope I didn't disappoint. Shout out to all the first timers. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I love y'all dearly. Okay. I hope it's been good. I hope I've been okay. Okay. Because I just been being myself. So I hope it's been a good live, y'all. I love it. Word. I've noticed an increase in my sense of smell. Yes, those senses, your gifts, your clairs, everything, more sensitive to the senses, more sensitive to everything. Be mindful of that. Those are gifts, those are activations. Like I said, your dreams, everything, just be in tune. You said, is that available on your site? Yes, you can book a oracle session. So I have my website pinned to the chat. It's also down in the description box. I'm gonna put my Cash App back up here. But yes, all of those things are down in the description box below. You can go to my website to book like past life regressions, psychic readings, oracle readings, healing consultations, healing sessions, Reiki, natal chart. Thank you so much, Jane. I appreciate you for the cash out donation. I love y'all so much. Gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Sending you all that love and light right back again. she's joining the class on Sunday, you guys. So again, if you guys would like to deep dive into that, we're going to be doing a class on Sunday, just really talking about more energy, things we can't really talk about on YouTube, and going over some few things to look out for with this energy being so present, all of this disclosure and exposure energy that is here. Gratitude for you. But yes, you said, oh my God, you said, I saw myself in the pyramid too. I heard if it was the Hall of Amenti. Yes. Yeah. So the Hall of Amenti is a physical place, and it's also a place in your mind, right? A place in your heart. When you get in tune with this frequency of just peace, bliss, love, you're able to travel to the Hall of Amentes, right? The quantum field, the quantum realm, the black dot, this metaphysical place where you can create whatever in time travel, right? Like I said, ascension class, for those who don't know, this is the type of work I'll be doing on my spare time, right? I love to meditate and deep breathe and tap into these different layers, but we all have access to it. But in order to access it purely, you have to do the shadow work, the inner child work, the trauma, the clearing, all of that has to be done first. So that way, when you get to these places, you aren't in fear with certain things that come up. You aren't distracted by certain things come up, because you will get tested before you enter in these gates, these portals. Okay. So like I said, if you want to deep dive, we can do that. If you want to book personal sessions, that's available as well. But I can't give it all away on YouTube. All right. Some things are sacred and secret for a reason. Okay. Because there's certain things and portals and things that we're able to access when we open ourselves up to certain energies and frequencies. So it's levels and layers to it all, just being open to it all as well. But I appreciate you. And I do regressions. All of that is available on the website, nudiamonds.net. Okay, you guys. So, woo, your girl. I feel like I ran over everything. I've been on here 2 hours. Most definitely pulled into a portal. Okay, because it do not feel like I've been on here for 2 hours. But it has been a pleasure. You guys, thank you guys so much. I can't thank y'all enough for all of the love, all of the energy, all of the good positive vibes. I'm sending y'all good positive love and light and vibes right back to y'all. Went over the aliens. We went over everything being exposed. If you guys haven't watched my past videos on this energy, I suggest that y'all do. I do thorough breakdowns. Okay. So this won't be the last we hear about this energy. This is just the beginning. Okay. This is just the beginning. And this is just the beginning for you, right? Because all this energy isn't just outside of you, it is within you. So you go within to access the different portals, the different grids, the space from within unlocks the space outward, so that way you're able to travel to these different dimensions that lie within you. Okay. So you are the alien, right? You are, because you have access to this higher sense of technology that resides within yourself. Once you remember that, you're able to expose yourself and to disclose different information to yourself from past lifetimes, from future timelines, all at once. The more you get in tune with yourself. Okay. They love to say things outside of us. Yes, things outside of us, but it's also within us as well. We have the key. All right. So getting in tune with that and being open to it all. Remember to reside and ground yourself in love, ground yourself in peace, ground yourself in wholeness, ground yourself in bliss, and be mindful and be discerning of things, because this is where we see the circus pull out all they tricks, y'all. We in the closing of this Piscean age. We in Pisces season. We're gonna see some mystical, magical things. You already know I've been talking about this mystical, magical, unbelievable, undeniable energy. The impossible is possible. It's possible if you believe in yourself. So tapping into those actions and tapping into this higher way of thinking and being and doing. Oh, thank you so much, Tiffany, for the Cash App donation. I love y'all so much. Sending you all that love and light right back. It's been a pleasure, y'all. It's been truly a pleasure. And shout out to all of the new subscribers. Shout out to everybody who has been with me for a minute. Shout out to all the members. Shout out to everybody who's donated. I love y'all so much. Okay. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification so you know when we go live. And yeah, y'all, it's up. Again, I have a class that's on Sunday. We're going to be deep diving into all type of things that are going on. I'm going to be sharing some of my notes that I got from this portal that we're in right now. And we're going to be doing some live meditations and healing energy as well. So it's going to be lit. If you are looking for that, That link for the class is in the description box below. Any products, any sessions, any crystals, you can always reach out to me on my website, newdiamonds.net as well. If you have any questions, you can always reach out to me in my email. People who want to donate things, donate gifts, all of that down in the description box below as well. I have a P.O. box. It's in my link in bio. And I love y'all so much. I can't thank y'all enough. Peace, wholeness, love, and light. And we out. I catch y'all next time. I love y'all so much. All right. Thank you so much and thank you so much, Norman, for the donation. I love y'all. I love y'all. I love y'all. Gratitude. Thank you for becoming a member. Gabby, I'm so thankful for y'all, right? And we're gonna continue to see as things blossom, things bloom, things open up. Is that the bird? Oh my goodness, a bird just came to my window. Divine messages, be open as everything continues to get exposed and things are being disclosed. The veil is lifted, right? You are able to see and pay attention. Use your first eye, follow your intuition, listen to your gut, follow your instincts, and don't let anything get past you. All right. I catch you on the next one. I love y'all dearly. Peace.